Hey everyone, I'm Dave with the Fragrance Bros, bringing you another video, and this time maybe a spicy hot take for you this time. We're going to be talking a little bit about Creed's history, and I have maybe a spicy opinion that some people might not have. Now, Creed is a very divisive company. They make very good fragrances and very expensive fragrances, but their biggest criticism is that their history is really weird. It's filled with lies and deceit and exaggerations. And this book in particular is one book that many critics use to blame Creed for all the lies. Now, this is The Ghost Perfumer by Gabe Oppenheim. I haven't even started this yet. I do want to review this, and I'll review this in the future. I've heard very mixed things about this, but I've heard this book quoted so often from critics of Creed that I just wanted to give it a try. So the criticism goes kind of like this. Creed says they were formed in 1760 as a fashion house. They made fragrances along the way for generations of perfumers, but they're lying about their history. They had ghost perfumers make the fragrances. They lied about their past, and so on. Here's my problem with all of that. If this is true, and if Creed does not make their fragrances by, the traditional Creed perfumers, Olivier Creed, Irwin Creed, etc., so what? A lot of fragrance houses use perfumers that they hire. Does that make a difference? If their history is romanticized, or if their history is more of a fiction, so what? Do they make good fragrances or not? In all of my years of trying a fragrance, I have never sprayed a Creed fragrance on and thought, man, I am so glad they started this fragrance house in 1760. It has not changed my experience of wearing their fragrances at all. Now, is lying wrong? If we can get past the morality argument, which I think is silly here, then maybe we can see this fragrance house as it really is. But I have other thoughts too. Now, Creed sent me this. They sent me a few of their books that has really cool pictures in here. It has some history about their fragrance house. But what I think is really interesting here, if you go to Creed's website and you just look about what Creed says about themselves on Creed Boutique's website, where the Creed story starts, it says, the unique story began in 1760 when a pair of scented leather gloves were delivered to King George III by a new London tailoring company, founded by James Henry Creed in the same year as the young king's accession. The House of Creed started its journey as an exquisite tailor based in Mayfair, London. Since then, the House of Creed has gone on to create some of the finest garments and fragrances of the discerning for over 260 years, shifting from its tailoring heritage into one of the world's leading niche perfume houses. Now, if that's true, all I'm hearing is that they started this as a tailoring company in 1760 and then eventually shifted over to perfumery. Isn't that like every designer house right now? They all have their own perfume brands. They hire ghost perfumers or hire perfumers, famous perfumers to make it. What is the difference here? I'm not seeing the conflict. But then I think also too, if we're really upset at fragrance houses making up a story about their fragrances, why are we not upset at this company? Another one of my favorites, Imaginary Authors. They make all of their fragrances based on books that aren't real, that are made up, written by authors who are not real. They're made up. We know that just because we know that. Imaginary Authors never says that these are made up books or made up authors. We get the reference. We get that they're lying to us. We accept the lie because we like the lie. But let's go a little bit further. What about these? Stephen King and C.J. Cherry. I bring these out just as placeholders here. C.J. Cherry is a pen name for the author who wrote these books. Now, her pen name is a little bit different because all she really did was abbreviate her first and middle initial, and she added an H to her actual name, Cherry. Stephen King, on the other hand, wrote under a pen name Richard Bachman for many years. And of course, the most famous author with a pen name, Mark Twain, who is Samuel Clemens, who his pen name is so popular, we don't even call him by Samuel Clemens anymore. He's just Mark Twain to all of us. That is a lie. But again, it's a lie that we accept. This lie we understand as a pen name. It's just a slight change of the lettering there. But with Mark Twain and with Richard Bachman being pen names, they were just there to deceive us. But again, no one seems to care. We accept the lie because we like the lie. So it all comes back to Creed. If they're lying, it seems like they're lying in plain sight. This seems like stuff you could just look up. They have royal warrants that they use. Why would they put a royal warrant on their products if they were never given one? Seems like something that you could be sued over, especially in the UK. And with their history being a fashion house in the 1760s, and then eventually becoming a perfumer. What is the problem here? I just don't get why people hate Creed just because they don't get what Creed is doing. Now I'll say this. I don't know if Creed is telling the truth, and I don't know if they're telling the truth. For all I know, Gabe Oppenheim, who wrote this book, could be telling a lie. All that to say, I don't really know, and honestly, I don't really care. If a fragrance is good, I don't care what they use to sell the fragrance. I understand that hot women who are wearing Chanel fragrances aren't the typical clientele for Chanel. Those people aren't going to be attracted to you just because you wear a Chanel fragrance. We understand the lie about advertising. We understand when the world's best coffee at a coffee shop isn't the world's best coffee. It's just advertising. Creed is selling a fragrance. They're selling their advertising. And if they're telling the truth or if they're not, I don't care. I just want the fragrance to be good. But what do you think? I would love to know your thoughts. Let me know down in the comments down below. I'll see you next time. I'm Dave with Fragrance Bros.